Howdy, Broncos country. Mace here with a bonus. 3 big things in the wake of Devaughn Vele being traded from the Broncos to the New Orleans Saints. Big thing number 1, what this says about the wide receiver room. Devaughn Vele, one of the Broncos' top 3 receivers last year, behind Courtland Sutton and Marvin Mims Jr., and a team that fancies itself a Super Bowl contender usually isn't in the business of trading one of its top 3 returning pass catchers at the wide receiver position 2 weeks before the start of the regular season. This is unusual, certainly, but it's only happening because of what is emerging in the wide receiver room. Troy Franklin, of course, is having a sensational summer, building off of a terrific offseason in OTAs and minicamp, and looks like he's emerging as at least a wide receiver 3, if not a potential wide receiver 2. And frankly, wide receiver 2 may depend week to week on matchups. It could be Marvin Mims Jr., it could be Troy Franklin. Then, of course, you have Pat Bryant, who had a phenomenal game last Saturday against the Arizona Cardinals, not just as a pass catcher with 70 yards, but also as a blocker with that downfield block that he made on Evan Engram's catch and run. This is built off of a strong offseason and going all the way back to minicamp. That was when Devaughn Vele missed time due to injury, and Pat Bryant really stepped forward with terrific work during those 3 days of minicamp. And perhaps that's when the stirrings of the viability of such a move began, that Bryant stepped in when Vele was out and showed what he could do. Bryant has continued to build on this throughout the summer. So between Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant, you saw options developing. And just as last year, when the emergence of Devaughn Vele showed that, okay, perhaps you could move on from Tim Patrick, and if you gave Devaughn Vele the reps that you would have given to Tim Patrick, Vele could probably be Tim Patrick's equal by the end of the season, and indeed he was, with the best rookie season for a 7th-round receiver since Marcus Colston back in 2006. You could probably make the same type of comparison between Pat Bryant and Devaughn Vele and saying, okay, if you gave Pat Bryant Devaughn Vele's reps, who's better by the end of the year? Would it be Bryant or Vele? And perhaps Bryant, if you gave the reps that you would have given to Vele, perhaps Bryant would be ahead. And maybe you make that kind of comparison, and that leads the Broncos to make the type of trade that they made. Big thing number 2, going beyond Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin. It's not just about them, but other receivers in the room. So there's Trent Sherfield, for example, a special teamer, but somebody who's shown that he can do some good things when asked. He played quite a bit last Saturday, but he's been a pretty consistent target in practice throughout the summer. Then, of course, there are the undrafted rookies who have made plays on a pretty consistent basis throughout the summer, and we've seen Courtney Jackson emerge as a pretty viable backup returner to Marvin Mims Jr. And then, among those undrafted receivers, one of the standouts who jumps out to me is Joaquin Davis out of North Carolina Central. The physical attributes on him are tremendous. He had a great workout at the HBCU Combine back in the winter. He's got length. He's got a 4.36 40, an insane vertical. And the thing that also jumps out is the way the ball seems to stick in his hands. He'll reach out. He's got an outstanding catch radius, and he'll reach out and the ball just seems to stick like he's got stickum or Velcro. So there are some potentially special attributes in Joaquin Davis to the point where, okay, do the Broncos maybe consider him on the 53 trying to slip him through? But it's about those guys as well, whether they're on the practice squad or if one of them is on the 53, that if there's a wave of injuries at wide receiver, you might trust one of them to bump up and give you some quality reps. And then another player beyond this is A.T. Perry, who started off training camp on the PUP list, but came back last week and is seeing more work. So A.T. Perry could be somebody who's also in the mix. Now, the odds are stacked against him because he's got some serious catching up to do because of all the time that he missed over the offseason and training camp due to injury. But A.T. Perry, as he told me back in January, he was getting some real quality reps last year when he was on the Broncos practice squad that even included some occasional first team reps in practice. The Broncos have gotten a look at him. They did sign him to a reserve future contract. He knows this scheme well because he was in New Orleans before he came here. Pete Carmichael on the Broncos staff coached him down in New Orleans as the offensive coordinator back in 2023. So he's spent nearly his entire career in this offense because the Saints kept running the Sean Payton offense after Payton left and Carmichael was the offensive coordinator. So you have all these other receivers in the mix as well. So it goes beyond Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin. It's a testament to the depth in the room. So even if you have multiple injuries there, the Broncos feel like they have these guys that they can trust. And so Devaughn Vele, they felt like, okay, there's a little bit of a redundancy there, and they felt good about the depth. Very similar to how when the Broncos traded Baron Browning last year, they felt good about the depth beyond. They felt good about, for example, D'Andrea Tillman. It wasn't simply about the emergence of Nick Bonito. And big thing number 3, it's the value the Broncos are getting back in this trade. I mean, tip the cap to George Payton here because Devaughn Vele picked 235 in the draft in 2024. You turn him into a 7th-round pick, a productive season as a rookie, and a 4th-round choice. And that 4th-rounder could be huge because the Saints are looking at being a dreadful team this year, very much in contention for the number 1 overall pick. Let's say the Saints have the worst record in the NFL. If that's the case, that 4th-round pick might be the first pick of day 3 in the 2026 draft. And that's a real good pick to have if the Broncos hang on to that because you get a chance to sleep on it after day 2, marinate on all the players still on the board. That's one of the more valuable selections to have in any draft potentially. So maybe it won't work out that way. Maybe it'll be early in round 4, but the Saints looking at a very bad season potentially here in 2025. That 4th-round pick could be valuable. That's looking at likely being a very high pick in round 4. So this is a pick that will probably be somewhere in the early 100s. So a pick where the Broncos should be able to get somebody of quality there. So it's a valuable pick the Broncos are getting back. So to get to take a 7th-round pick in 2024, get a good season from Devaughn Vele, get another 7th-round pick back, and then get a round 4 pick, I mean, that's great value. And yeah, I mean, there's a slogan you use around a team that's owned by a arm of the Walmart Walton family. So the Broncos trade Devaughn Vele, but they've still got plenty of depth, plenty of quality in the wide receiver room, as I just mentioned. Appreciate you watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you've got something to say about the trade, leave your comments right there. If you're watching on YouTube or any other platform, leave your comments below. Appreciate it. Keep the comments civil, of course. Take care. Thanks for watching. And join me on any of my social and YouTube channels for plenty of Broncos chat. Take care. I'll see you next time.